Motorola just did something unusual. Instead of waiting for a big launch event, it quietly confirmed almost everything about its upcoming mid-range phone before officially announcing it. And if the specs are accurate, which they are, straight from Motorola's own website and Flipkart, the Motorola Edge 70 Fusion might be one of the most interesting Android mid-rangers of 2026. Before we jump in, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. It really helps me keep bringing you more tech breakdowns like this one. This matters because the mid-range market is brutally competitive right now. Brands are pushing higher refresh rates, bigger batteries, better cameras, all while trying to keep prices under control. And Motorola seems to be aiming directly at that sweet spot where performance, design, and value meet. The Edge 70 Fusion is part of the same family as the earlier Edge 70, but this one looks positioned to be the more balanced mainstream hit, and on paper, it's stacked. Let's start with the display. You're getting a 6.78-inch Extreme AMOLED panel with Super HD resolution, a 144 Hz refresh rate, and up to 5,200 nits of peak brightness. That's flagship-level brightness territory. For a mid-range phone, that's a serious flex. Whether you're gaming, scrolling, or watching HDR content outdoors, that screen should easily hold up. Powering it is Qualcomm's Snapdragon 7S Gen 3 processor. That's not top-tier flagship silicon, but it's modern, efficient, and more than capable for everyday performance, multitasking, and gaming at high settings. You'll get storage options of 128 GB or 256 GB paired with either 8 GB or 12 GB of RAM. For most people, that's more than enough headroom for years. And speaking of years, Motorola is promising 3 OS upgrades and 5 years of security patches. That's huge. Software support has been a weak spot for many mid-range Android phones, but this commitment makes the Edge 70 Fusion feel much more future-proof. Camera-wise, the setup looks practical and focused. The main sensor is a 50-megapixel shooter using Sony's Lightia 710 sensor, which should deliver solid dynamic range and low light performance. There's also a 13-megapixel ultra-wide lens for selfies and video calls. It's not overloaded with gimmick lenses, just a clean, useful setup. But here's where things get really interesting: the battery. A massive 7,000 milliamp hour cell inside a phone that's just 7.99 millimeters thin. That's honestly impressive engineering. Motorola claims it can last more than 2 days on normal use. Marketing exaggeration aside, 7,000 milliamp hours is objectively huge. Even heavy users should comfortably get through a full day and more. Charging is handled by 68-watt turbo power, which Motorola says can give you power for the day in 10 minutes. Again, marketing language, but 68 watts is fast enough that top-ups should be quick and painless. On durability, you're getting IP68 and IP69 water and dust resistance, plus Gorilla Glass 7i protection on the front. That's a rare combo at this level. It suggests Motorola isn't cutting corners on build quality. Design-wise, this is where opinions may split. The phone features a quad-curved display. Some people love that refined, edge-blending look. Others hate the reflections and accidental touches. But visually, it definitely looks premium. And then there are the colors. Motorola is offering Pantone Silhouette, Pantone Country Air, and Pantone Blue Surf finishes. These aren't just basic shades, they're Pantone-validated tones with fabric-inspired textures. For a budget-focused device, that attention to aesthetic detail is refreshing. Now, the big unanswered question: price. We don't have official pricing yet, but if Motorola keeps it under 500 euros in Europe, maybe even closer to 400 euros, this could be a serious contender, especially considering last year's Edge 60 Fusion sits around 330 euros right now in some markets. India appears to be getting it first, with possible pre-orders as early as February 26th and shipments starting March 2nd, although Motorola has mentioned multiple dates, so there's still slight uncertainty there. As for the US, it doesn't look promising. Motorola hasn't hinted at American availability, and historically, these models don't always make it there. So, does Motorola have a hit on its hands? Absolutely. A 144Hz AMOLED display, Snapdragon 7S Gen 3, 7,000 milliamp hour battery, IP69 protection, long software support, and premium design. That's a strong package. It's not revolutionary, but it doesn't need to be. If the pricing lands right, the Edge 70 Fusion could quietly become one of 2026's smartest Android buys. What's your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section. See you in the next video. Take care.